Hey, you guys. I've just been sitting here, dwelling with the Lord, reflecting on a few things, just kind of processing the heaviness within the body of Christ, especially since Charlie Kirk's unfortunate passing and assassination. And so there were a few things that the Black community seem to bring up in regards to certain comments that Charlie allegedly made while he was alive. And so I began to see a trend of people just kind of posting memes of things that he said, like, kind of created memes and images. Also, just kind of commenting phrases with a hyphen, saying, oh, Charlie Kirk said that. But me being the person that I am a firm believer on doing our due diligence. I think it's very naive for us to just take people's word and run with it without doing the research, actually getting the information for ourselves. So I began to do a little digging, and I actually ended up finding the full video in its entirety. And I understand that there is a lot of propaganda, a lot of certain agendas when it comes within the media. And so because so many people are so used to these 2-3 minute clips and reels of videos, right? People aren't actually taking the time to watch the entire thing and actually understand the things that are being said and not take it out of context. Because context is extremely important, right? So I'm actually going to post some fuller clips of what was said regarding Black people being better off.
Amendment. And the whole idea of affirmative action is to try to give people extra boost based on their skin color or their racial background, which by definition cuts underneath the idea of equal protection.
Okay. So do you know why the 14th Amendment was founded and the Equal Protection and Equal Rights Act
exists? The 14th Amendment was a post-Civil War amendment. 14, yes. 15, 16, 17 were all during Reconstruction.
So what was it in response to?
Slavery.
Oh, and who were slaves?
Well, that's an important point. So do you think affirmative action will help heal the multi-generational problems of slavery?
I do. I really do. Okay. Because, so let's just talk about the history for a second. Slavery begins in the early 1800s.
Earlier.
No.
Slavery?
1816 is the beginning of slavery.
1619.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would be. Okay, first slaves come in 1619. Doesn't end until 1800s.
1880s.
Then we go into Jim Crow laws starting in 1877, and Black people are not given equal rights until officially 1965. Would you agree with that?
That's generally the correct telling?
Yeah, so, 1960s, 1970s.
But just so we're clear that Black Americans were able to serve in office in the early 1900s. They were able to vote throughout the 1900s. But yes, there were poll taxes, there was Jim Crow laws, there was segregation. Of course there was. I mean, you have to be delusional not to acknowledge those things.
Okay, so we can acknowledge all of those things. Can we also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that Black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement?
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. It was evil, it was terrible, but Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s.
Yes, why do you think that is?
Good question. So we have the Civil Rights Act, we have more benefits, more government programs. Something changed between the 1950s and 2024. So there's two answers to this question. Either America got more racist since 1950s to 2024, so like that 70-year period, because Black Americans are worse off today per capita than they were. You agree with that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Than in the 1950s. Or there's another explanation, and I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is I think you would acknowledge that the disappearance of the Black father has been the number one driver of Black poverty in this country. Now, there are reasons for that we could...
What do you think the reasons for that are?
Well, culture is one. Would you agree?
So actually, let's go back to the foundations of that culture.
School to prison pipeline, all that stuff. But can we at least agree that Black dads not being around is a bad thing?
Anyone's father not being around is a bad thing.
No, of course, but 75% of Black youth are not raised with a father in the home. It's the highest of any group in the country. It used to be 25% in the 1950s, so it's gone up dramatically in 70 years.
Okay, so you are blaming the fact that Black people have not been able to achieve economic equality and
Or even
advancement in
progress.
this
'Cause
country,
they've had decrease.
specifically and solely because of the absence
Not
of Black
solely.
parents.
It is the most primary ingredient reason. It's the most
So you
primary
think
reason.
it's the absence of Black fathers?
Correct.
And you think, what else?
Public sector's teacher unions that have kept these schools crummy and kids aren't reading and teachers keep getting paid and we don't fire bad teachers. That's a big thing.
Okay.
War on police in our inner cities and not having enough police and not actually locking up criminals. Hear me out. For example, in Chicago, do you know that only half of all murders go solved in the city of Chicago?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's a problem, right?
That is a problem.
Yeah. So we need more police, more detectives to solve those murders. But I want to hear your points too. I'm talking too much.
So let's go back a little bit to what you said in the issue of policing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs.
You like the war on drugs. So
Yes.
during the war on drugs, it created an epidemic of mass incarceration, specifically
Hold on.
of...
Only if you're using drugs
No.
or peddling drugs. If you don't use drugs, then you don't go to jail, right?
So you believe that the criminal justice system is flawless?
No, I've never said flawless. There's a lot of people in jail that shouldn't be in jail. There's a lot of problems in any system.
Okay, so
But-
wait, let's
but
pause on
however,
that. So you believe that a lot of people who have gone to jail
small percentage.
shouldn't be in jail? A small percent.
Yeah,
What
but-
percent would you say?
5%?
You would say only 5%.
Correct. When you have a system of justice, you're going to have scummy prosecutors. You're going to have bad defense attorneys.
I have a question. Can I get a Google? What percentage of people currently incarcerated are Black?
It's way larger than
Well,
five.
it's hold on.
It's what?
Hold on.
Way larger than
No,
five.
I know, but
Also,
the
when
fact
you're talking
the
about
fact I'm saying
mass
the fact I'm saying 5%.
fathers, it's caused by the war on drugs.
Hold on a
So
second.
that's the point that I'm trying to make. Exactly.
Who am I debating? Am I debating here? Am I?
If your own government is pumping drugs.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
but
I want to make a
you-
quick
You're
point.
right. Black Americans are in prison far greater than the percentage of the population. So Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes, I
About
know
half
this.
of all prisoners are Black.
Exactly.
So Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders. They commit more arsons. They commit more kidnappings. For example, Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders. That's not a war on drugs. That's a culture problem.
Okay, so let's talk about that culture.
Now, what lie did this man tell? And I really want y'all to take what he's saying and really let it resonate in your spirit, because those are all absolute facts. In fact, I think many of us can agree to that if we just go on our Instagram, Threads, and Facebook feed to see how many Black women have been complaining about the struggles in single parenting and also the lack of support from absent fathers. And like I said in my previous video, it is a problem when someone can't tell you or show you when you are the problem. Now, there's even more to that video, and so I'm actually going to make a part 2 to this so that we can continue to dissect this as a community. Because if we don't want any other races to talk about these things, then we should be able to have mature, educated, and healthy conversations to address these things. Follow me for more if you like this kind of content.